Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG. I am Sovereign and today we're just going to be going over the T9 battleships and which is the best ones to use in PvE. I've spent the past couple of weeks doing a lot of testing on a lot of the ships and some things have been changed. Some of my opinions have changed over some of the ships, like the large rapids for example. There seems to have been a little change in there that no one really was told about. At least in my opinion, there has been something from when I did the Barghest video a few months ago to now. Something has definitely changed because they are not as good at applying to smaller ships as they once were. So we're basically just going to go over all the T9 battleships. I'm going to sort of put them into an order of what is best for PvE and give you my opinions on that. So right at the start, we're going to be starting off with the Scorpion. I don't believe the Scorpion is anywhere near as good as it can be. The birth of this ship in EVE Online was to do with E-War. It's supposed to be a very good E-War ship, especially for PvP. But all it's given in EVE Echoes is guidance, disruptor strength, optimal range. The scan resolution is good for PvP. It has turret damage and missile torpedo damage. There is no tracking bonuses for this ship, so its application on smaller ships is nowhere near as good as some of the other battleship variants, which means that in PvE you'll have a lot less hits, making the clear times much slower when trying to kill the frigates and the destroyers on the actual anomalies that you are doing. The guidance disruptor bonus really does nothing against the rats, so it's not a good bonus for a PvE ship. This ship is the worst for actual PvE in the game for the T9 battleships. There's not much else I can really say about this ship. The next ship on the list is the Tempest. Now the Tempest is a pretty decent ship. It has got some decent flight velocity. You will be able to make that base much higher with rigs and adding a propulsion module on there, making it be able to move around the battlefield a lot faster. The one issue that is with this ship is the fact that it has no tracking bonus whatsoever, and with cannons, tracking bonus is needed for it to be viable in PvE. Again, because of the smaller ships making your clear times much longer, making you have to warp in at range on normal anomalies and making you have to go out of range, but it is a lot easier with an MWD with the higher base speed and sticking some auxiliary thruster rigs in there. You can get out to range quicker, and unless you're doing anomalies like Serpentis etc where they have the sensor dampeners where it takes you a lot longer to lock onto the frigates and destroyers, you'll be able to kill them before they get to you. The ship can be used, but without that tracking bonus I don't believe it to be anywhere near as good as some of the other ships on this list. So now we move on to the Megaphron battleship. It does have tracking speed bonus, it has activation time bonus, it doesn't have any straight DPS bonuses, but the ship is still pretty decent for being able to clear. If you're using snubs, they have pretty decent tracking. With the tracking bonus you can hit the smaller ships when you have a double web on them, for example. Its inertia modifier is more attuned to the PvP side of things, but could also be attributed to being able to jump faster, warp faster in between storylines, for example. So it speeds up the times in between each of the actual annihilates of these storylines, making those clears much quicker. With only having 3 low slots, and at the moment with the skills that we're having right now, being able to tank this ship, especially with armor being a bit lower on the end than shield, but there is a way that you can actually fit the ships now. But I'll do that in a different video where we've actually tested a few different armor variations with the battleships to make armor on par, if not slightly better with the current skill points we have than shield. It's got a pretty slow base velocity speed. It has a pretty decent tank and the power grid output is okay with a decent capacitor size, but there are definitely still better ships on this list. So next up, we're going to be talking about the Typhoon. Now the Typhoon uses large missiles. Now the large rapids, while not being as good as they used to be, the Typhoon gets a bonus to torpedo and missile explosion velocity, which is one of the main issues for the large rapid missiles. There's an issue where they have a problem with the explosion velocity versus explosion radius. It's not high enough, and because a lot of the skills from EVE Online have been completely deleted from EVE Echoes, one of those is a skill that ups your explosion velocity, making missiles much better at applying damage to smaller ships. So while not being able to hit the elite frigates for full DPS or the faction frigates for full DPS, you will still always do damage. It might take you a little bit longer to do, and it does slow down your clear times. It is still a ship that is much better than some of the other large turrets that can't really apply against some of the smaller ships, especially if they're getting close with those micro warp drives, especially with those elites and those faction ships. The scan resolution really does help with the PvE aspect as well, especially if you're trying to lock up targets quickly. It can speed that up. You'll be able to grab the frigates first. You can grab them from your max range and be able to hit them as they're coming towards you. But the thing with missiles is it doesn't matter what direction ships are going. The only thing that matters is the speed in which they are going. So they can be coming straight at you and you'll still do less damage if they are moving fast. The only reason this ship isn't above the Raven is because of those 4 low slots that the Raven has over the Typhoon. The Typhoon also has the fastest flight velocity of all the T9 battleships that we have currently, making you be able to get into range, positions that you need to get into quicker. It is also one of the best looking ships for PvP currently, especially if you're going to be doing large blob fleets. You can stick those missiles on there, you can stick torpedoes on there rather than the large rapids, and you'll be able to do big damage to the battleships. You'll be able to keep those battleships at range if you fit more of a speed build, and is also able to hit those smaller frigates that tackle you much easier, be able to shoot them out quickly with that explosion velocity bonus. So now we move on to the Apocalypse, the next in the line of T9 battleships. This ship has a massive laser tracking speed, has a massive laser optimal range, and also has the scan resolution bonus. It is good for PvE, it is good for PvP. You can warp in at range at anomalies and be able to grab those frigates and destroyers much quicker with the scan resolution. The tracking speed is much better, especially if you have a double web on there to slow down the ships around you. You'll be able to apply damage to a lot of different sizes of ship. And with lasers, the optimal range is all that matters, and if everything is in optimal range, you can get some pretty decent ranges, 50 kilometers on the optimal range for pulse lasers, for example, which is really high. And then we move on to the Raven. The Raven has 4 mid slots. This is the reason why it's higher in the list than a Typhoon, is higher than a list in the Apocalypse. You can fit more Nosses for much better tank and be stable whilst PvEing the ship, even with the skill points that we have currently. It has large missile and torpedo damage bonus, 5% per missile torpedo operation. It has the activation time, and it has missile torpedo velocity, allowing you to be able to hit those ships at a further distance. The one that's like to sit out at 30-40 kilometers orbiting you, you can still hit them with your missiles, not an issue. It has a flight velocity bonus that's okay, it's not great, but during the testing the Raven has a lot more quicker clear times, which is the main point of PvE. The quicker you clear, the more money you make, and that's all that really matters. And then we get on to the Armageddon. The Armageddon, while most people believe this isn't the best ship for PvE, it is definitely up there, and that is because of the fact that you can get a drone damage bonus to all of the drones, the smalls, the mediums, and the larges. Having that bonus to the optimal range of your Nosferatus allows you to keep your tank up much longer, especially when there's the only ships that are left on the field are the ones that are further out. You can get up to 57 kilometer range with the Nosferatu and the neutralizer. Makes it a very good PvE ship, makes it a very good PvP ship. You can hold that tank on for longer. Now, only having 5 low slots means that you can only really fit 1 DPS module, which lowers the DPS a little bit, but the application of medium drones, if you spec into medium drones, is much better. You can kill all frigates really quickly, all destroyers really quickly, you're killing BCs really quickly, cruisers really quickly. The damage application is much higher, much higher than all of the other weapon types of all the other battleships. You can use the large drones. The large drones have really good tracking. They can hit stuff. It does slow down clear times with the large drones, which is why I would use medium drones in PvE. They can get to targets quicker. They apply damage better to all kinds. You can switch and swap them out, but for the amount of skill points we have now, and with the Armageddon, you don't have to do the same as the large drone bonus for the Dominics. The drone DPS, drone EHP, and drone control range are all off of the battleship command bonus. It's kind of a dark horse. Most people don't think this will be very good, but it is indeed very good, having the second quickest clear times for tier 7 dead spaces, which was what I was testing these on. It is definitely one of the better options. So now we move on to the King of kings in the T9 battleships, the Dominics. Massive drone DPS bonuses, massive drone optimal range, drone tracking speed, massive bonuses from the large drone operation. Now you do have to put 5 points in large drone operation, even though you'll be using medium drones, so you might have to step back on a few of the skills for other aspects of the ship. And with this battleship bonus, you get an extra 10-kilometer drone control range per level, having a massive 85-kilometer as base drone range with these skills applied. Using medium drones on this ship, the clear times of a T7 DED is under 1 hour. You apply it to everything. You can kill those little ships quickly, getting those scrams off you, getting those disruptors off you, getting those webs off you from all the destroyers, etc. You can get all them gone quickly. And my testing has confirmed the armor or shield tank on the Dominics, depending on how you do it. Again, I'll explain it in a later video, the new setup for armor, which makes it comparable to shield tank, but only really with the T9 battleships. This ship works with a shield tank, it works with an armor tank. Inquisitors go like nothing. The DEDs are the only thing that takes a bit of time. The storyline missions get done in less than an hour. It is a very, very, very good, overall good ship, especially when using the mediums. And with the current SP, you can fit those 4 high slots with medium rapids as well, allowing you to kill those frigates. While your drones are off killing battle cruisers or battleships, you can kill the frigates that are close to you with those medium rapids and fully apply your damage to it. And you can get those skills up to 554 in both of them, whilst also keeping your battleship skills in check and the medium drone skills in check. The Dominics is definitely, if you are looking to make ISK in PvE, the Dominics is the best choice by far of all of the ships. And it's also pretty damn good in PvP. Now you might have seen most of the stuff that's getting killed from battleship wise are Dominics, because they are more widely used and because probably pilots haven't got the right skills for them, they aren't using the right fits for them, etc. That's not a good indicator for if a ship is good or not. It just means more will die if there's more out there. But anyway, that's all the T9 battleships and my opinion on where they stand sort of in the chart of what's good and what's not good for PvE. Everyone will have their own opinions, everyone will have their own skills. You're not wrong, I'm not wrong. It's all dependent on what you enjoy, what you find enjoyable. This is just my opinion on how these ships are and how good they are after hours and hours of extensively testing each of them. And that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found a better choice on what battleship you will be using in once you hit tier 9. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember to like and sub if you haven't already. This is your one-stop shop for EVE Echo's content. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.